Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are and whatever time you are watching this. For me, it's in the morning. It's March 24th, 2025, 8:40 a.m. and it's Monday morning. How are you feeling on Monday morning? Um, I haven't made this video in a while in the mornings. I'm drinking my coffee from this cup. Every day is a fresh start. Every day is a fresh start, and I'm a huge fan of coffee art. So, I wanted to share this video today that, you know, even when our life changes to, I share these videos about from being from rock bottom to reaching to unstoppable comeback. It's like midlife reinvention. That's what I teach about because that's how I took my life from where I lost my executive job and marriage at the same time about a year and a half ago. And then it took me a year to really reinvent my life. Some people would think that year is not long enough. But the part is that I have been working on myself for over 2 decades with learning, growing, and I never stop because this is a field. It's something that sometimes you don't realize that it's things in making. So I'll tell you. So this is my all-time favorite quote, and it has been for I don't know for how many years. It's a Steve Jobs quote that he said. You can never connect the dot looking forward. You can always connect the dot looking backwards. You will have to believe that the dots will somehow connect. You'll have to trust in something. This was his Stanford speech that he gave that speech before he died. Um, when it comes to leadership, I think in my early career, in my 21 years of corporate leadership, well, initially I was not a leader, I would say. And then in a few years, I think I started figuring out what my strengths are and where my weaknesses are. And people would normally tell you that, focus on your weakness, not the strength. You have to improve on some of your weaknesses, but more you focus on your strength, that's where you'll actually have better success. So I wrote an article about it on LinkedIn about 8 years ago, I think. And the concept I tell people is, spend 100 hours on the things, just to experiment, spend 100 hours on things that you are weak on, and then spend 100 hours on thing you are already good at. The thing that you're already good at will take you to great and even greatest level much faster in that 100 hours than something that you're weak on. So not only that, it makes you happy and all of that. So it took me, in some way, I would say it took me a while. But when this happened, I realized that in the past, I have overcome challenges. I have been in this country for 20 years in the US, and I grew up in India. So there were many times I had to face challenges, I had to overcome it all by myself. So something in me was telling me that I can overcome this too. And this was probably the hardest. And I knew that if I can overcome this, I can overcome anything in my life. So initially, if you have been following me from the beginning, you have seen those videos, or if you go back and watch some of those, where several videos I talked about, I was making this as one is first for my own survival guide in the future if something, you know, challenging happens, to overcome that, to remind myself that yes, I have done it before. One is when you do it before, it's in your mind. Another is if you really have it captured, I don't know, in a book, in a video, in a somewhere written down, then you have more impact to that in a good way. And then also my hope was that this will become someone else's survival guide someday. And now I'm so grateful that it is becoming survival guide for many more people than I have anticipated. Because I always had the knack for coaching and mentoring and all of that in my corporate career of 21 years. And then somehow this just aligned with that, and I have been happiest ever in my with my work. It's 22 years. I don't think. I mean, I had had some. I had good jobs when you see from outer reality, but when it comes to where I was really really happy with the work I had in a few different places, good bosses, good work, whatever. Um, but this is like beyond beyond anything I have experienced, because that is where your passion, your calling meets with your day-to-day work. And for me, the Monday morning, Sunday night, and Thursday or Wednesday all feels the same. And that is the difference you want to feel, because people dread, especially in the corporate world, I know people dread Sunday night or Monday morning. And if you're dreading that, you gotta think, you got to think what can I do differently, because Bob Proctor said that people go through this conveyor belt in life. The whole life goes as a conveyor belt, and you don't even realize, and you're just working, paying the bills, and then, excuse me, and time goes by, you don't even realize, and you know life is over. Life is over. Yes, you got to pay the bills. Yes, you got to work, but it's all in our minds. And I know that a lot of people say that, but the biggest difference for me was, and I think all the big people say it, but until we do it, until we feel it, we don't realize it. The consistency. When I started making these videos, no matter without fail, I still do it. It's going to be in 2 months. It's going to be a year, every single day, and that commitment I have is to myself. And it's great that there are people who are encouraging me, and also you guys come here and watch this video, and I really feel so appreciative, so grateful. But it's a commitment that I have to myself that I want to continue. And that is one commitment in one thing, that you keep going no matter what, is going to help you in other areas. In last summer, when my daughter was having some health challenges, even on her surgery day, I made that video, because that's a commitment I want to. And that time things were very challenging, and I wanted to make sure that I kept my words to myself, and that is what commitment is. You keep your words, and before you can keep your words to anyone else, you have to keep your words to yourself, and that is what will give you the strength and whatever else you need to succeed in life. And yeah, life has been amazing, and I'm so grateful to God, because no matter what your outer reality is, no matter what is happening in the world, because there are a lot of things that are happening right now, and all along, world has never been fully peaceful, and it will never be, because there will be conflicts. There will be. Imagine if two people under the same roof, if they cannot agree on everything, how can 8 billion people agree on everything, right? So that's the aha moment actually for me. I used to love this. I have to make these videos more, because when I made these videos, the random thought like that would come to my mind, and it just blows my own mind. And I kind of like it. uh, so yeah, I mean, if you think of that, and in this channel we talk about, divorce recovery, which I started calling it a reinvention, because recovery is just, you're sad from sadness. You just get to a place where you can kind of cope with it. Our goal has to be beyond coping, right? Because coping is just, you will easily slip back to where you're feeling sad. And it's okay sometime to feel sad, angry, mad, whatever, but you don't want to live there too long, right? Because life is so short, time is so valuable, and People say time is the most valuable asset there is, but not the time when you're sad, angry, mad. The time that is most valuable is the happy time. So that's what I kind of try to tell people, that, from here to here, you can have formulas to get there. And that's how I was able to, even though it may seem like within a year I got there, but it's decades of study that helped me to get there faster. And then I came up with my framework that I help people with, either in 3 months or 6 months, people can get there. And it's a real reinvention, because I look at it as like a second chance in life. The things that you could not do previously, now you have the chance to do. So I'll give you a real life example. So for me, 324, today is the exact day last year at this time, my daughter and I, we went for a small trip. It was in Pennsylvania, about 2 hours from here. And I remember I was kind of actually afraid to do that trip, because it's been a long time I did a trip like that. It's not even like 2 hours drive, that's it. But I haven't done it in a long time. And if you have been following my channel, you probably heard it. Like last year, my daughter and I did 3 trips. They're short trips, but oh my God, I love, I love going on a trip. Either if it's short distance, road trip, flying, wherever. So right now, with everything going on, even though I want to, I can't manage to go to a different country, which probably next year we're gonna do. But this year, I'm still planning to do, like, smaller trips. And anyway, so last year I was afraid, and my mind was in a totally different place. And there are videos with the dates. I used to maintain the dates actually in the videos. I don't know, until early 2025, so about like January, maybe, like, every day. And I don't maintain the dates as much on the title anymore, but in the beginning of the videos I used to say the date. It was also for me to realize, like, how far I have come. And it's a blessing to think that we can change, and we all have that power. We just got to believe in something beyond ourselves. And universe, God, whatever resonates with you. And it could be you yourself, whatever that is. That your belief is the most ultimate thing. That when you believe it so strongly, what I truly believe is that universe will bend the rules to give you that thing, because that's how it's all energy. Everything works that way. So last year this time, life was different, very different. How my mindset was I can't even explain. If you go back and watch some of that. Actually, I haven't started it in March yet, because my mindset was not ready. I was thinking to start around March, however, I didn't. I started on May 27th. It was the Memorial Day. That'll be the anniversary day of this channel, by the way. I think I created it early May, but I eventually ended up making the first video on May 27th and continued thereafter every single day. So to me, the excitement is that, who I am becoming through this process. And each one of you coming to this channel and watching these videos, and I'm like so excited to hear your story, like, as you were coming here, applying some of this, I hope, and the other things in your life, because we are learning always from all the conversations that we have with each and everybody, your family, friends, whoever, how your life is changing. If you feel comfortable, please share it in the comments. I would like to know more about you too, especially the folks who are coming here, on a regular basis. Please do share, and even if you are new here, please do share, because I know that there are times seeing some comment somewhere, it changed the entire trajectory for me that day, or sometime even that week, and sometime even, like, I even remember some comments now that I have seen 5 years ago. Either it's a comment or a picture or a post on LinkedIn or YouTube or somewhere, or Instagram. It has the power to change someone's life. So you never know. Like, this is a perfect example. So I shared that before. This book I'm reading currently, it's called Bounce Back, and 12 Warrior Principles to Reclaim and Recalibrate Your Life, called Bounce Back. And it's written by Travis Mills, U.S. Army retired. And Travis Mills, he lost all four of his limbs. Look at the picture. All four of his limbs in the Afghanistan war. He has a family. He has no idea that I'm reading his book, and I'm feeling, excuse me, inspired. My throat, I'm sorry. You know, I'm a person who has been reading these things for over 2 decades and feeling inspired. And people like Tony Robbins, who is maybe at the top of this personal growth space, I follow him closely. I find his messages inspiring, and so many different variety of them, like, I don't know, 50 to 100 different people. And this person, not many people know his book, but I am finding inspiration from his book even now. The part of that is this type of learning, this never stops. Yeah, because it's like you got to find what resonates with you and then it keep going. And not only you will find that it keeps you alive, you learn new things, it's some part of your brain unlocks with this, and that's the beauty of it. Some of the things I still do in the channel I used to share before with you guys, you know, daily gratitude, affirmation, practicing the mindfulness. Like, even this morning, I went out in the deck, and you guys have known that I used to make those videos. I would, even in the video, I would do the mindfulness practice sometimes. Like, you know, I would smell what's out there. I was out in the deck, so I could try to smell. So our next door neighbor, they have put some wood chips, new wood chips on their backyard, so I could smell that. Normally I don't even pay attention to it, right? And then I could hear the sound. There are 2, 3 different sounds going on. I can actually still hear it. They're doing some work over there in the backyard over there, outside our fences in the common HOA area. So I could hear that sound. I could hear the birds chirping, looked at the sky. I took my slippers off and was feeling the wood in on the deck. You know, so all those senses, our 5 different senses, how we feel it, it literally grounds you to that present moment. And so I still practice those because it was not only for the recovery or reinvention. I'm already there where, you know, I know how to get from this point A to point B quickly. I don't spend more than seconds or minutes in here because there's no use. But it takes us a long time, a practice that we can constantly do it, not through anyone else's. I talk about this inner coach and inner critic. Inner critic is everybody who is criticizing you, and in our mind there's that part of our mind that resonates with that, and there is this part that's called inner coach. That is the higher power, the God or universe or whoever you can resonate with, and you want to align most with that inner coach, right? And if you're Christian, you can kind of connect it with like the Holy Spirit, right? So from other religion, I don't know how I can kind of say it. I know Hinduism and Buddhism. It's hard to relate exactly because in Hinduism there are many gods. But you know, it's just a belief. It's a strong belief that you have to stick with that, because in 24/7 throughout the day, no matter how many coaches you have, no matter when you go to the temple or churches you go on Sundays for sermons, but rest of the time, like 99.999%, you are with yourself. So when you are with yourself, if you are with this thing, this inner critic, or in Christianity you could say it like a devil, your life will be devilish. But if you are with, you know, the Holy Spirit, the God, or you know, the universe, that resonating with that, the positive thoughts, then your life will be flourishing and it will be positive. So it's interesting that so I was sharing that also in one of the short yesterday that so recently was it Saturday I had a Toastmasters contest and I had participated before also several times. So this year, like this contest is when I had the most fun, absolute fun. And I posted it on my LinkedIn too. If you guys are curious, my LinkedIn link is on my YouTube About page. You can see, and people even commented saying that they could feel the positivity, energy, and they found it inspiring. I participated in two different things. There were three different things the competition was going on, and I participated in two because my whole point was about enjoying life. My intention was not even to win the contest. My intention was to just have fun, no matter what, right? So I just spoke from my heart. I was authentic, and stories and everything just added up. And part of it was because I have been with Toastmasters for over 10 years. So some of it, Toastmasters teaches you how to articulate your message and how to be your vocal variety and your tone, all of that. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect, but and that's why I keep going and I keep learning. I have I have known people with they have been with Toastmasters for 35 years, that long. Imagine that. So I've been only 10 plus years. So it's and every meeting you go, you learn, and it's so amazing, so amazing. And then the fun fact is there's research that says that public speaking is, when it comes to the most fearful things in life, public speaking is number one, and number two is actually death. So people would rather die instead of speaking in public. And trust me, I was there when during my school days. I remember my middle school, high school. Oh my goodness, I used to be so afraid of public speaking. Oh, I can't tell you. And me being from one out of six kids, and my family, I think they were from a small town. They didn't understand the importance of public speaking. So by the time I picked it up, that I have to overcome that fear is after I got a job. Uh, that's funny. 15 years ago, I think I had one of my biggest, not 15, it was 2007, so that would be 18 years ago. 18 years ago, that was a time I remember in one meeting. It was a room full of meeting, and we had to present. And my voice was shaking. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Now I find it funny, but in 2007, I remember. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to do something about this. And for several years, I actually I knew I had to improve, but I just didn't know how. And it was 2010, I think, first. Yeah, a friend of mine, a coworker, she told me about Toastmasters. And then I went and attended one. It was in DC. There were four people in that meeting, so I was not too excited, just attend a meeting with only four people. But I remember I talked about stock market because that was my thing back then. And I know a lot about stock market and trading because I used to do quite a bit. So I knew that that's a topic I could just speak. So they let me speak for, I don't know, 3, 4 minutes on that, and I did. Um, from there, for a couple of years, I actually didn't look for any new club or anything, and then we moved locations. So back in 2013 is when I joined Toastmasters here in Ashburn. And since then, life has changed in a good way. My communication, public speaking has gotten so much better, and I reap the benefit at work too, because your workplace communication gets so much better especially when I was in the leadership, leading teams, people. It was very, very key. Um, yeah. So yeah, it's an amazing journey, and the reason I share it in here in this channel is that if you are going through the divorce recovery journey, what lies in our mind. It's just the fear and faith. These are the two simple things. Faith is that belief, right? And the rest, all the emotions, the anger, sadness, bitterness, whatever, it all connects to the fear. If you keep going down deep, 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 it's all from fear. And there are multiple ways to uproot that fear. It doesn't have to be only one way. So, and the interesting part is when you can uproot that fear, the deeply held, excuse me, the fear itself is also like a deeply held belief, right? Because it's interesting how Bob Proctor said that fear and faith both are something that you cannot see. You believe in something so strongly, even though you cannot see, um, you can choose. And most people, unfortunately, choose the fear. So it's a strong belief that you could have in the other side, and this makes your life beautiful, and this makes your life miserable. But unfortunately, even though we know all of this, our mind keeps going there because our brain is wired that way. So we have to work towards to be there. And the good thing is that when you have that strong belief, you don't necessarily have to do all the hard work. You just believe in God, believe in the universe, and over time it becomes easy. So, and you just have to go with what resonates with you. All my life I grew up Hindu, and when things fell apart, I practiced Buddhism for a while. You would even see the pictures behind me. This used to be a Buddha picture, and I was a Jesus picture. And on this side, I had a Shiva, which is a Hindu god. On my earlier days, the videos you would see. Not because I wanted to show it off or anything, because at that point I didn't even know where my life was unfolding, what religion or anything. You won't even see me wearing the cross until, I don't know, later last year, because my life just unfolded the way it was supposed to. That's what I believe, that every little incident, it's like the hitting a red light when I was driving somewhere, or missing a shuttle, or I don't know, sitting down, having some coffee, sitting down at a coffee shop, having a chat with a friend. All of this were designed, losing my job, all of this were designed in a way so that I was ready. I was ready for this moment, right? Because I have a big vision. I have this movement, people suffer so much in midlife, either from midlife crisis or especially after divorce or job loss at this age. And people think that life is over. And so many people live in this fear and sadness and suffering for years. They don't have to. Excuse me. It's a little cold in the house. I gotta increase the temperature. Sorry about that. So, we can reinvent the life. And for me, this was one of the things that I got back into my traveling, because that is my deepest desire and dreams that I could not live without. And there's nothing wrong with having this versus that. And as time goes, two people may grow also differently. So only thing is, when you are growing apart, the communication is what holds it together, because you will never have anybody who would agree with you 100%. So how you navigate that is what makes a life fulfilling, living with another person. So, but what happens is, when you don't pay attention and you are growing apart, and when it gets too far out, I don't know, if you're this far, it's easy to resolve. When you're this far out, it's not easy to resolve anymore, right? And you just got to believe that everything happens for a reason. And so that's what I believe in. And like I said, and I totally believe that this was meant to be, because how happy I was at the Toastmasters contest. It's just, I'm so grateful to God. So grateful for God's blessings. It's just amazing. I want to live life like that, my rest of my life like that. And I hope you guys also, continue walking the path, even if it is hard now. Know that it is possible. You just got to keep going. Only one rule, if you have to remember, is do not give up. Do not give up. Just keep going. Some days you will believe in yourself, some days you won't. The days you don't believe in yourself, the days you don't believe in God, even then, when you keep going, the light is going to keep showing up faster. So you just have to keep going. And sometimes, you know, you would see my earlier days, my videos where I would talk about, literally, I would talk about my progress. And that time I didn't even know if anybody was watching these videos. So sometime I would compare my progress from day prior, and sometimes I don't see any progress, so I would go a week prior, and sometimes I would see progress, and sometimes I have to go a month prior. So that's how we have to look at, a day, a week, or month. And there's no comparison with another person, because for some people it could take 6 months to fully recover. For some people it might take 6 years, because we all have lived a different life. And if your earlier life you have struggled through a lot, sometimes that means that you have more tools in your toolbox to use, so that helps you to get there faster. Not necessarily, but generally speaking. So there is no comparison with person A, person one to person five, because everybody's journey is different. If you compare, only thing you will have is the sadness, or I don't know, in some sense, like jealousy, or it'll make you sad. But you want to compare your journey from only with you. That did you become a better person than a day before or a month before, right? And then when you start seeing the progress, that will encourage you to go even further. And for me, that's what I do. It's my inner coach, and how my inner coach is coaching me. And that's how I do. Like, I literally, I look back that how it was a month ago, how it was 6 months ago, or a year ago, and not only I see the progress, it also excites me that a month from now, 3 months from now, or a year from now, who knows what else is in store? Because last year at this time, if somebody told me that I'm going to be doing all of this, I don't even completely believe this in my wildest dream. So anything is possible. So who knows, next year this time, 324, 2026, who knows what's in store, right? So it's the excitement of the journey too, because that's how you want to find that it's not the destination, it's the day-to-day journey, what matters, right? So yeah, just keep going. And if you have seen the light, and if you're ready to date, join in the 30-day challenge that I started. I you know, post videos, the short, and 12 p.m. I talk about what I'm going to cover, and there's a deep dive about 5 or 10 minutes around there. At 7 p.m. every single day, I cover 3 topics, like how to get there faster. So you become irresistible. The point is, you love your life. You need to learn to love your life like never before. Only then you'll have everything that you have desired. You have to look for, you have to figure out a way to not look for any external validation, none, zero, like your partner, your friends, your family, nobody, just you yourself, because it's always you versus you. Once you master that, my friends, that's it. So that's what I'm teaching in that. And even if you're not fully ready to date, or you're one of those folks that, okay, the divorce is still very raw, I don't even think of dating anytime soon, I can't tolerate the other gender or whatever, just watch them to see if you pick up something, because sometimes we don't know where our emotions are stuck, what will set us free. Because in my case, it was the shame and guilt, which I didn't even know. A random 10 minutes meditation video from Insight Timer, because the way I am, I used to listen to a lot of meditation. I went to boot camps. I did a lot of homework from different books and whatnot. So there's so many things that I tried, because I'm a whole different person, because I do a lot of different things to overcome that. But for me, the first thing that gave me, that showed me the light, was that the 10 minutes video, that overcoming the guilt and shame, which I didn't even know I had that much ingrained in my mind. So you never know what's that thing that is really holding the cap. And that's another interesting thing to see. As I was saying, it just came to my mind. So because imagine that you have, these are my jelly beans, I'm a big fan of jelly beans anyway. um, all these jelly beans, think of these are the really, really amazing, wonderful things that you have planned in your life, but they will stay in until the cap is open, right? Nobody can reach there. Nothing, you can't even see that until the cap is, thinking that cap is your first breakthrough. So for me, that breakthrough was that meditation, the shame and guilt, which I didn't even know, and a lot of people don't know, because those are long held belief that you may have built from your childhood. And if you believe in reincarnation and all of that, it could be even in your deeper level and the soul level from your prior life or the life before that you're carrying. So it is very, very deep, and that's why sometimes you may not know. So you have to figure out a way, doing different things, to uncover that cap. And if you get coaching from me, then of course I have some proprietary framework that I came up with, which I do it very fast. But there's, the work to be done. I work like a guide or a coach or mentor, however you want to call it. I will show you the fastest path to get there, but you have to follow the path. But anyway, so this coaching is not for everybody. These are for, I call it high achievers. You have to have that mindset that I am not going to give up no matter what, because I want it that much that I am going to do it. Doesn't matter how. And I am that kind of a person. I'm a little intense. So my coaching is for intense people. So if you consider yourself one of those, feel free to reach out. I have my contact information and the website on the YouTube About homepage. It's midlifemindfulness.co, not .com, .co, C-O, Midlife Mindfulness. Mindfulness is spelled with one L, .co. And, I'm here to change lives. And I believe that it's not me, it's that the inner coach, the God, the universe, whatever you want to call it as, put that in me. And I just feel that it's my blessing to help the people to overcome the pain and suffering, because and sometimes you can help people the most when you have been through that, and I have been through that. I remember those times where last March, this time, I remember I even asked this question to a person, and this was one of the other light worker person or something they're called, medium, I think, yeah. So I was telling her this, that every morning when I get up, I feel this intense pain as soon as I get up in my mind, and I didn't even know what that is. And then she was saying that, that's a grief. That's a grief about the thing that you have a planned and designed life for the rest of your life, and that just slipped away. So you are feeling bad about that, feeling sad about that, and that is that. And sometimes that's the thing, we don't know what to name that pain as, what to name that suffering as. So I had to feel that. I mean, I have a smile on my face now because thank God, because when Joe Dispenza would say that when you have a challenging experience and when you can recall that without experience that emotion, then it becomes a wisdom. And thank God that it became a wisdom for me now, because I felt that I remember how hard it was, but I don't feel that way anymore, because I am more excited about the future. Because you have to know how to let go of the past to get to the future. It's almost like if you are driving with your rear view mirror, constantly looking at your rear view mirror, you are going to miss what is in front of your car and the windshield, right? So it is important to let go of the past, just learn from that and keep moving forward. So that's how I look at life now, and that's how I teach people. So you have to figure out a way to do that, because the more you keep looking at the tiny rear view mirror, you're going to miss what's through the windshield. And they say that there's a reason why the rear view mirror is so small and the windshield is that big. It's supposed to be because we were supposed to focus in the front, right? So, again, for some people it could take a few months, for some people it could take years. But what I would tell you is life is short. Don't live here too long. You can live in this space. It's all in our minds. We just have to make that decision that I'm not gonna be under the control of this inner critic. I'm going to align with my inner coach, the God, the universe, whoever, something bigger than ourselves, because all of this, the subconscious, superconscious energy, all of this are here, all the good, all the positive. You can live most of your life in here. And the midlife is a time, midlife is a time, it's a very interesting time because you had all these experiences before. If I call 40 as a midlife, where you cross that, and then you had all these experiences without even knowing your life. I know that you have overcome many challenges in your life. So what you look at is you look at three big things that you had to overcome, and think what actions did you take, how you thought, right? What did you speak about, how you thought in those three things, and you'll find a pattern because we are the same person. You are the same person who had to overcome those number one, number two, number three. If you look closely, if you write them down, you will find a pattern, and that is your formula to move from here to here. Even now, if you are going through this challenging situation, if you are a divorce, from here to here, you will find a pattern. Use the same pattern, use the same pattern, and be consistent. Not just one time, first day, second day, third day. Keep going. First 30 days, you may have to just do it even if you don't want to. You just have to do it. And after that, you'll start seeing some results. Even if you do gratitude practice, first 30 days, you may not see some. It might feel like a chore, just still do it. And if you continue for 6 months, my friends, Jim Rohn says, Jim Rohn is Tony Robbins, used to be Tony Robbins' mentor. He died, Jim Rohn died. He says 6 months is not too short, not too long. It's the perfect time to see the results of consistency. If you do it for 6 months, I can guarantee you, my friends, because I experienced it. I have never, ever, ever experienced this in my life. I'm 40 something, and the key of consistency, the power of consistency in believing something bigger than ourselves and just doing it to see what happens, it's just amazing. You have nothing to lose other than changing yourself for the better. So give it a shot, try it, and let me know. And I have some playlist where you'd find some one-day challenges. If you're still watching the video, look at those one-day challenges. Look at those little moments of joy and the gratitude playlist. There are multiple, 7-8 different playlists. See which one you like, especially if you want to try something every day. I would recommend the one-day challenges or the gratitude. If you do that every single day, 30 days, your life is going to change. You are going to experience it. I can guarantee you are going to experience some change. And share it with others, because everybody who is going through this divorce recovery journey, they know somebody who's also going through it. I know it because when I was going through that in my network, I had a lot of those folks. Unfortunately, a lot of people choose to just be there. So share with people, see who somebody might find it resonating. They will, follow through, and they'll find help. And some people may not. Like, for example, I may not even know those people. Like this person, Travis Mills, he has no idea that I'm finding inspiration from this book. So you never know. Some people might find real inspiration from this channel. So, share it. And if you find these videos helpful, please give me a thumbs up, because that way the YouTube algorithm will pick it up for other people to watch it. Otherwise, they just stay down. So, because I want to really make an impact in this world, there's so much pain and suffering, and this is my way of, giving back to the society, reducing some pain and suffering for the world, and live this world a little bit better place than I found it for the next generation. And I do have some personal interest because my daughter, she's 9 years old, so she is the next generation. So if the world is a little bit better for the next generation, it'll be better for my own daughter too, and hopefully your kids too. Okay, have a wonderful day and a week, and I will have the video at 12 for the dating challenge, the short at 12 and the deep dive at 7 p.m. And for the next, how many ever days are remaining? Today is day 5, so still after today, still 25 more days to go. And after that, I'm actually going to do some more challenges. And if you guys have ideas, please comment below and let me know, because I'm going to, after the 30 days, I'll probably have a break for a week or two, and then I'm going to do, I have lots of planned challenges in my mind. Those are shorter, a week or 10 days. But if you guys have specific challenges in your mind that you want me to cover, please comment below and I will pick from those in the queue. Take care. Bye.